If you're a landlord and you are not taking any kind of automated payments from your tenants, stick with me and I'm going to teach you how to join the 21st century. Taking automated payments offers you a ton of benefits as a landlord. One, it's selective in and of itself. People who are able to make automated payments either have the credit score for a credit card, they have a bank account, they have some kind of established financial infrastructure that automatically screens them out. So screening tenants is extremely important to me. You can see that in the real estate investing course that I teach, and the link's down below if you want to check that out, or also in any of the other videos where I talk about tenant selection on my channel. Tenant selection is your most important job as a landlord, and the screening process is extremely important. As you know from my other videos and from my course, I screen for credit score, work history, and income levels respective to the property that the tenant's applying for. But even if you don't screen for credit, which I advise against, but if you don't screen for credit, just only accepting automated payments is going to be a screening factor in and of itself. Why is that? If you only do your rent collection through automated payment, whether it's a credit card payment through Square or a similar service, or whether it's an ACH collection through QuickBooks Online or another similar service, that ensures that your tenant has, or your prospective tenant has some kind of financial infrastructure that they're wired into, whether it's a credit card, a bank account, or other financial institution. Just by virtue of the fact that they are integrated into the financial system means they either have the credit score to be integrated with something like a credit card, or they have some basic financial wherewithal to be able to maintain a checking account, because you wouldn't believe it, but some people actually, they can't have a checking account because their financial history is so poor. So just by virtue of the fact that they have a checking account or a credit card, or even some other kind of financial mechanism that they can do automated payments, is going to help weed out a lot of the tenants that you may not want. Another great benefit of only doing automated payments is it makes rent collection so much simpler. Rather than spending hours the first few days of the month trying to track down tenants, trying to find payments to process, I, for example, use QuickBooks Online. I use automated ACH payments through QuickBooks Online, so I'm able to enter the tenant's financial information one time when I first set them up, and then every month I can just debit their rents right there in QuickBooks Online. This makes it a lot simpler than having to spend the beginning of your month trying to coordinate payments from tenants, or trying to track them down to find out what's going on with their payments. Now, one of the things that does happen is sometimes tenants' payments will get rejected due to insufficient funds, or they've changed their bank account and didn't notify you. And that's when it's going to be important to make sure that you do have a late payment clause in your lease, just like you would when you accept regular payments. This late payment clause is going to come into play whenever you do get those denials for insufficient funds, or the bank account no longer exists, or something like that, because then it's incumbent on the tenant, since they didn't notify you, properly that their financial situation was going to change. Now you can hold them accountable for that late fee. So you will have to track down those payments. So you'll then have to coordinate with those delinquent tenants. You'll then have to coordinate with those delinquent tenants when they plan on paying their rent, and then charge late fees as appropriate when those late payments do come in. When you're setting up your ACH payment, you're going to need to make sure that you have an authorization. So what I've done is I've taken the default ACH authorization form that's provided in QuickBooks Online, and I've basically taken that same template and applied it to my letterhead. I provide that to my new tenants for them to fill out so they can authorize their ACH withdrawals. Now, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, so this is not to be construed as legal advice, but there are some best practices that you should follow whenever you're creating your ACH authorization. First, I would suggest utilizing an approved template from the financial services company that you're processing your ACH payments through. But what I would troubleshoot that for are a few of the following things. I would make sure that obviously the name of the person who is on both your lease and the bank account that's going to be debited is on your ACH authorization. Also, I would make sure that you have the dates that your ACH authorization is valid. So on mine, I have a start and an end date that ACH authorization is valid. Next, you'll want to make sure that you clarify the amount that's going to be debited with this ACH authorization. So on mine, I have the monthly rent amount that the tenant fills in. Sometimes we'll debit a different amount, but I'll make sure that that's clarified with an email, and that'll be an exception to the norm. For example, if a tenant's ACH had bounced for their rent payment, and I'm now subsequently going to collect their late rent with the late fees, usually there'll be an email to support that. A lot of times though, when I do have a late payment, we'll just collect that separately and we won't collect it through the ACH process. Next, you'll need to make sure that you have the routing and the account number if you're going to be processing ACH payments, because you'll need to put this into your system that's going to be debiting the payments. And then lastly, have the tenant's name clearly printed and then also signed, authorizing my company to process their ACH payments. So you can find the forms in QuickBooks. There's a default form that you can download. However, I like to just clean it up a little bit by applying that same information to my letterhead template and then providing that nicer product to the tenant for them to conduct their ACH payments. One of my favorite things about processing payments via ACH is the positive interactions that it increases with the tenant. So whereas when you manually take people's rent, you're creating a negative interaction the first of every single month with your tenants. You got to hunt down that rent check, or they have to physically bring that rent check. And so every month you have this negative interaction where the tenant's paying you rent. With ACH withdrawals, you eliminate that negative interaction. You're just debiting the tenant's account for the rent that's owed for the upcoming month. So one of the things that they talk about in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a book I highly suggest reading. If you haven't read it, check the link. I'll put a link down below so you can get yourself a copy of that book. I've reread that book at least 4 or 5 times. But one of the things that he talks about in there is the importance of just having positive interactions. He specifically uses a real estate example about halfway through the book, so definitely check that out. But it's super important as a landlord, as a property manager, to create opportunities for positive interactions with your tenants, and using ACH payments is one of the ways that you can decrease one automatic negative interaction every month, and so that gives you more free time to create positive interactions. So since we don't spend the first week of the month chasing down rent checks, we're now able to invest that first week in making sure tenants are taken care of and creating positive experiences for our tenants. Please follow us on Facebook or sign up for our mailing list at www.docommonproperties.com so you can be the first to hear about available openings. Here at DoCommon Properties in Joplin, Missouri, we pride ourselves on providing the best rentals available in the price ranges you're shopping for. Here at at Do Common Properties in Joplin, Missouri, we've right-sized our operations, so we're big enough to provide you the best homes available at the prices you're shopping for. Because we've gained Joplin's trust, our listings go very quickly. Most of them don't last more than 48 hours. Some of them rent before they even make it to public marketplaces like Zillow or Craigslist. So make sure to follow our Facebook page and sign up for our emails at www.docommonproperties.com so you can be the first to hear about available openings.
Cool.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. So basically, I'd like to talk about a little bit with automatic payments and any kind of like electronic payment solutions. So I know you as a small business owner with marketing and web-based business, you take a lot of electronic payments through credit cards and things like that. And then me as a landlord, like we've talked about before, I only take payments through ACH or credit card from prospective tenants. And I feel like that makes both of our businesses a lot more seamless, because I feel like if you're wasting time trying to collect payments from customers, that's time that you're not providing value to your existing customers. So, you know, me as a landlord and you as a marketing and tech guy, you know, if I'm spending time trying to get payments from tenants, I'm not spending time doing maintenance on tenants' houses, things like that. So, but I'm used to like taking digital payments with QuickBooks Online through ACH payments, and I know that you have a lot more experience with digital credit card, you know, payment solutions. So if you want to just talk a little bit about how you take your digital card payments, how that sets up, how it's set it up, and maybe some ways that you did like and didn't like in the past that you've done those.
Yeah, so see, even right now, I'm still with Square. I've used Square forever. Until recently, I think it was basically lockdown of Corona is whenever I realized I needed to only take card payments from here on out. I liked getting checks from my clients, but you know, I liked it because I didn't pay credit card fees. But it's just a lot more simple to just go ahead and connect everyone up to a credit card and just automatically charge them or whatever. Way more simple, you know, just charge the card. Grant Cardone says that a lot if you watch him, and he's always talking about just getting a card on file and just charging the card. I did notice whenever I went into clients' businesses or whatever, and I would go pick up, you know, a monthly check of $2,000 a month for whatever, you know, service I was doing for them, I could see the expression on their face completely change when I walked in. It's because I came in as a bill every time, you know. They might like me as much as they do, but they hate paying that money every month. Even if it's making them money, they still hate dishing out that large amount of money. So if I just could charge their card, it would have been a lot easier, and I probably would have retained some of those accounts longer. So yeah, that's a big tip that I learned over Corona that I definitely going to start doing. I use Square personally. I'm actually about to switch over because I am affiliated with a credit card processing company now. I have a partnership with them. So it's kind of something that we're dabbing into more, is kind of be a one-stop shop for business solutions instead of just marketing company, kind of just a business solution company. So credit card processing, payroll, gosh, there's a list of things. But yeah, that one's going to be through authorize.net. The parent company that kind of manages them the most is called Beyond. So started working up with them recently, but yeah, I think, you know, I think they all have pros and cons. Square is kind of the biggest known. Square, Stripe, Bank Card USA, all these big ones. But you know, Square is very simple. I like Square a lot because they're simple, they're clean. It's just simple all around with their payroll, their calendars, their teams, everything. But basically that's kind of what Beyond's doing as well. So I'm going with that route since I can be an authorized, you know, dealer for them and get some kickbacks whenever I switch someone over. So I kind of like that aspect of it all. But yeah, I think overall the taking payments online is definitely the way to go over, you know, check.
I really like what you said about the interaction changing when you go from like paper checks to taking digital payments, because Covey talks about that in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Like, it's really important to create positive interactions with your customers. And if you're taking a manual payment every month, you've created a negative interaction every single month. And if you can get rid of that negative interaction by automating the payments, that gives you so many more opportunities to create win-win situations with your tenants or your customers in your case, rather than having an automatic negative interaction every single month. I think that's real big.
Yeah, it is.
And then
it's huge.
Another thing, you were talking about Square being super simple, and the new system that you're now representing having similar functions. I know with Square there was an option to take ACH payments as well, and not just credit card payments, which would alleviate the transaction fee. And I'm assuming with your new service, that probably exists as well.
I think so. I think it depends on what plan you're on. I think it does exist, but I don't think it's on the free plan.
Okay. Yeah, and that would make sense because I'm on a paid plan with QuickBooks Online where I'm allowed to take those ACH payments. The payments themselves are free, but the plan that I'm on costs money.
Right.
And then on the flip side of that, there's a delay with ACH payments, traditionally 3 to 5 days. But with QuickBooks Online, I actually have a 10-day delay between the time the tenant's debited and the time I get the money. And so that's how I end up paying that fee, is QuickBooks takes that float, and I'm sure they use that money to make some money during the interim, during that 10-day waiting period. I can pay an upcharge to get my payments immediately, or I can just, wait the 10 days and have it free. So I end up taking the free process. But that's one difference I've seen between ACH payments and credit card payments. Now, you've also dealt with like contract credit card payments as well, right? So you can have people they're monthly users, and you can also have people that are contractual users. Have you seen some differences between those two, and how you choose to handle your payments with, kind of month-to-month customers versus contractual customers over time?
A little bit, a little bit. I think it just depends on the services I'm providing for people, on exactly, and also the amount that they're getting charged monthly. There's this one guy, and he was good for the money. He was actually happy to pay it because he was getting a hell of a deal, but he was just hard to pay. He was one of the hardest guys to pay. It's just because he had so much stuff going on. The money that I was charging him monthly was so minute to the kind of money he had and was bringing in. It was more of a time factor for him. It took way too much time out of his day to actually go write me 2 checks every month, than to just, if I would have just gotten his debit card or credit card, credit card preferably, and just charged that, it would have saved the deal. Because at one point I was 5 months behind on payments from him, and it was nothing personal. He was good for the money. He just took way too much time out of his busy day to get me the money. So finally I just kind of quit working with them and everything. And but it just depends on that behalf. Sorry, I was going on to one other thing. Let's see. I don't know.
I think that's a good point, because dealing with handymen, on the flip side of it, I've talked to numerous handymen around Joplin that said they would love to be full-time handymen, but instead they're working a part-time job or a full-time job and then doing handyman work on the side. And I've had several people tell me they'd love to do handyman work full-time, but it's so difficult for them to get paid for their jobs. And then I asked them, well, how do you take payment? And they say, well, cash only. And so I said, well, here's a catch-22. So to that person, maybe like the handyman who's watching this video, that, because you talk about, hey, this guy, like, collecting the payments was difficult, and you or I, if someone comes and works on my house, if it's a cheap job, $30-$40 job, if they text me a Square link, they're going to get paid like that. However, if they're waiting for me to find them to give them cash, that they're probably never going to get paid, and I assume that's probably true with you as well. So to that handyman who's watching, who could be cranking out 4 or 5, $50 jobs a day, but he's worried about getting paid. How simple is it for you to set up a Square or to set up a, Beyond the new system?
Yeah.
Like, how simple is it for them to set up one of those with their sole proprietorship or LLC so they can be getting paid right now? I mean, they can finish a job, they can text or email out an invoice and be getting paid immediately.
Takes about 15 minutes to get them signed up and going.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Would they reach out to you for Beyond if they wanted to set up a automatic payment system with Beyond where, tomorrow they can be getting credit card payments? How would they contact you? What information would they need? And what would be like their first 3 to 4 steps to get that set up?
Yeah. They would contact me directly, and I'm going to be getting new business cards and actually putting that feature on the website that we're redoing and everything. But yeah, then we go from there. I would have to have, their bank account that's connected to their LLC, EIN number, and then just some other personal information. I have a list of it. There's about 20 different pieces of information I need that are all pretty simple. We fill it out and go ahead and connect it, and then they're good to go. And that's the most simple way. If they're doing over $2,500 a month, they should go with me and Beyond, because it's actually, we can save them money, but not only that, the customer service is great. I think the longest wait time Beyond had last year, or the average wait time a customer waited on the phone for customer support was 45 seconds last year. So
nice.
Really, really quick. But if they're doing under $2,500 a month on processing, Square's the best way for them, just because they're not doing enough volume for it to really make a difference on us saving them any money.
Cool.
On the
so basically, if someone's wanting to do this full time, they should probably go with Beyond then.
I would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, they're going to save a lot of money in the long run.
Sweet. Well, I'll go ahead. I'll throw your Facebook link down here below. If it's on YouTube, if it's on Facebook, it'll be up above there, and so awesome. People can get in contact with you that way and be getting set up. Because I think it's huge. It's you shouldn't be spending all your time trying to collect money. You should be spending time adding value to people. And so if you're able to just shoot out that link so you get paid, that takes a huge chunk out of your day that you could be, doing another job or, taking care of another tenant or taking care of another
actually switching my business over to Beyond here shortly. I'm waiting on one more thing, but once that goes through, I'm gonna switch that over, just because might as well pay myself that fee than Square.
Yep, absolutely.
And with Beyond, I have margins. I gotta figure out exactly where someone needs to be. So usually, I think Square is 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction or something like that. So I'll put myself at like a 2.1 or something like that.
Nice.
Which is what we usually do for a lot of the clients. We usually keep them around 2 to 2.5, just so we're a lot cheaper than Square. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I'm happy that we get to kind of dabble into that and add it to our services. I think it's going to help us tap into a lot more businesses as well. A lot of people don't need, some people really don't need marketing. You know what I mean? And some people do, but they just can't afford it. But if we could help them out with processing and save them thousands of dollars a year, that might open up a new budget for marketing with these people. So
yeah, everybody's got to get paid.
I'm excited.
That's real cool. That's exciting. And so, are you fully up with Beyond, or is that in the near future? Or when?
No, I'm fully up. Yeah, I finished up that affiliate program with them last Monday. So I've already been talking to a couple people. And actually, it's really, the reason why I started doing it is I build so many websites a year that take payment processing, and I just connect them all to Stripe, because that's the easiest one to do online, e-commerce stores and everything. I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? Stripe's making their own payments. If I can go ahead and create this, not only can I make money on every sell, but I can also save my clients percentages and go, if there's a problem with the processing, I do it myself. I don't have to contact, Stripe support and deal with someone over in India or whatever. It's all
That's
local
awesome.
here. So
That's
it
real cool.
saves time, saves money, and it saves a lot of headache in the end. So
That's awesome. And you add so much more value to your customers that way too.
yeah, I think it'll be nice. I really do. I'm trying to create, like, I don't want to be a jack of all trades, but I'm trying to create a one-stop shop for the average business.
Mhm.
If I could go into a business from start to finish and offer them, some kind of the business, an amount of business consulting, but hook them up with their website, all their digital marketing, their menus, if it's a restaurant or whatever, and then do all their processing and everything, then they only have to talk to one guy and they don't have many salespeople bothering them all the time. It's just,
Yep.
they know one guy to call, and they call us up and we service them completely, where they don't have to deal with 8 different people.
That's awesome. Sweet, man. Cool. Well, I love it. I think that's huge. That gets everybody, they can see some of the differences between collecting credit cards online, ACH payments online,
Yep.
and then some of the value that it adds to go ahead and contact someone like you to get them set up if they're not set up already. So that way they can start taking digital payments tomorrow and start focusing on their business instead of trying to track down their money.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're 100% right. They'll be more beneficial switching online.
Sweet. Where's the best 2 or 3 places for people to find you?
LinkedIn, the website, and probably Facebook is another decent one. I say LinkedIn and my website is probably both the best one. LinkedIn's Payton Layne, Payton Layne, and then the website is www.contactemm.com.
Sweet. All right, we'll throw those up here so people can grab them. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.